Mr. Unspeakable. Well, we got a lot of news today. Well, let's start off first with the elections. So today, I think most of the polls are closed or they are closing. Um, so, looks like in New York, our friend Zoran Mamdani is going to win. 50.3% is in. I was looking earlier. It looks like it's about 80%. This guy's a little bit late, but he's leading with 1,012,850 votes, while Andrew Cuomo came with 837,398 votes. Curtis Siva or Sliva, 144,123, and Eric Adams with 6,182. Oh, we got news 1 minute ago that Abigail Spanberger has actually won. Congratulations to Ann Spanberger, or Abigail Spanberger, sorry, excuse me. So, congrats to her. Democrats take that one with 1,786,068 votes, 56.9%, comparing to Winsome Earl Sears, who only had 1,346,342. So, that's a win, a pretty good one by Abigail Spanberger with over 300,000 votes. And that one has been called. And congrats to Virginia gubernatorial election. Polls are closed at 7 p.m. What time is it right now? Looks like they're already closed. They've been closed 1 minute ago, so 91% in. So yes, she's definitely won. Now looking at New Jersey, another Democrat won, which is very good news for Democrats. They got Mikey Sherrill won with over 56% in, with 1,574,001 vote. She's won over Jack Citarelli, who's actually came in with 43.2%, and she's got 1,210,000 votes. And these is as of now 85% in. And we're looking at the overall results. It looks like Zara Mandani is kicking the crap out of Andrew Cuomo. Zara Mamdani, I told you guys to watch out for this guy. I mean, he is going to be something else, man. We're looking at this guy to be something close to Bernie Sanders. Maybe even more to the left of Bernie Sanders. So Zara Mamdani, congratulations to you, man. 1,016,968 votes. Looks like over 50% in. 50.3%. Andrew Cuomo, 41.6%. Curtis Sliva with 7.1%. And Eric Adams with 0.3%. So we still got a little bit to go. 89% in total. So can Cuomo catch up? I don't really know. I don't think he really can right now. I mean, they're probably going to call it 89% in. They're probably going to call it. So there you go. Zara Mamdani wins that one. Again, Mikey Sherrill, she wins in New Jersey. And also Abigail Spanberger, congratulations to her. And win over Winsome Earl Sears over in Virginia. So we got that news, and that's a lot of good news for everybody else. I don't know, guys. I like the Zoran guy. Like I said, I've grown up in a country that's been led by socialism in the 80s and 90s. Of course, the notorious Josip Broz Tito, who led the country of Yugoslavia back in the 80s and 90s. He was known to be more on the left of socialism, which when he say he was a communist leader, he was not a dictator though, but he was a communist leader. And now you have Zohar Mamdani, which a lot of people are comparing saying that he's a communist. I don't think so. I think he's got some really radical left ideas. We'll see where it goes. I mean, it could go really well. It could go not really well. I mean, New York is a giant, giant city. There are many, many different nationalities, people of many different beliefs, and it's very mixed, and that's why he was able to pull off a win. There are a lot of Muslim population that live in New York. I've lived in New York for 5, 6, 7 years. I lived in New York all the way from 1994 through 2000. So I kind of understand where all those people are coming from and what they've been through. So there's a lot of refugees living in New York. Another breaking news, guys. This is not a good one. A lot of people are going to be upset. So, I don't know if you've heard today, Dick Cheney is passed away at the age of 84. And Dick Cheney had some heart issues, as we all know. Uh, he was a heart patient for many, many years. He's had four to five heart attacks. Many say he's saying four, some say five. Well, it says that Dick Cheney he had five heart attacks, and science helped him until 84 years old. He's passed away, surrounded by his family, his daughter Liz Cheney, and his wife. In 60 Minutes interview that was some years ago on CNN, Vice President Dick Cheney told a CNN correspondent Sanjay Gupta that his heart disease was the result of unhealthy living and product of bad genetics. I mean, of course, we know that genetics could be have a lot to do with people's illnesses. I believe that no matter how good you eat and what you exercise, it does help to exercise. It does help to eat healthy. It it can prolong your life, but a lot of people, even those that exercise, even those that eat real healthy, end up having a lot of issues. So it really is up in the air, really, what's going on when it comes to that. So Dick Cheney on that interview on CNN told Sanjay Gupta that his heart disease was the result of unhealthy living and product of bad genetics. He stated that he had a history of bad heart and he was indulging a lot of bad food, eating a lot of burgers, very unhealthy, very greasy food, and a lot of fatty foods. And it says that he's been drinking a lot of beer and smoked up to 3 packs of cigarettes. Like, I didn't know that that guy smoked up to 3 packs of cigarettes and drank a lot of beer. That's just crazy to me. I mean, he didn't look very healthy. He was always kind of chubby and big. He was a bigger guy. But they're saying he was one of the most popular vice presidents in the history of the United States. So he's a pretty popular guy. So my heart goes out to Cheney family, and I hope that you guys find a way to recover from this. I'm sure you will. Um, so he had a fifth heart attack later on after his fourth. They're saying so he drank a lot of beer, smoked up to 3 packs of cigarettes a day. He was a he was a vice president of the Bush administration from 2001 and through 2009. So his first heart attack happened when he was 37 years old in 1978, and then two additional heart attacks occurred in the at the age of 30, or let's say in 1980. Okay, so one happened at the age of 37, then two more attacks happened in 1984 and in 1988, and then a fourth at the 2000 presidential election. So then he had a defibrillator put in, and to just as an insurance policy to make sure if the heart goes out of the irregular beat, the defibrillator, I believe it works, that it will shock you and bring your heart back into the regular beat. So he did have the defibrillator put in to help him with that. And the crazy part, and this is many were suspecting, even the Mr. Cheney himself, he's saying that one time they had to shut off his wireless function of the defibrillator because he was afraid that the terrorists uh, could somehow put his heart into a really fatal beat. And so, they did that one time, which just sounds to me ridiculous, but it's possible that they could have done something like that. And after he had a heart attack in 2010, he pretty much left office after the fifth heart attack. And guys, this he was extremely lucky. I mean, a lot of people don't even survive number one or two. I know a couple of people that lived after three. But like I said, my heart goes out to Dick Cheney's family. I thought he was a decent man. I don't never met him obviously. Uh, he in 2000, so he basically had to have a heart transplant, and after that they did put in it's an what is it? What was it called? Like a LDA something. I think it was like a heart pump. And they're saying after they put that LDA thing in his chest, uh, you can live up to maybe 2 to 5 to 7 maybe years after that. So and then after that he was put on to wait for heart transplant. He waited miraculously, Dick Cheney. He waited 20 months to get his heart transplant. A lot of people wait years. A lot of people don't even get to live to get the heart. So he got very lucky there. He received his heart transplant of just 20 months waiting. That was in 2012. So, and then he's lived since then for another, 13 years with that heart transplant. So that heart gave him 13 extra years of life, guys, which is amazing. I mean, he would have been done a long time ago. Even with that first heart attack that's happened when he was less than. But the guy smoked 3 packs of cigarettes for Christ's sake. So we're going live right now. Usually just go live for right now because we haven't figured out how to just do the whole thing with the pre-recorded videos and stuff like that. I prefer to go live for now. And let's see where the elections are at. So we got in New York City mayoral race. Polls close at 9 p.m. Last update 1 minute ago. 89% in. Zoran Mamdani's leading. He's won. I think they called it. It's not even close. 50.4% for Mamdani and 41.6% for Andrew Cuomo. And without Curtis Levi, too bad. I like this guy, Curtis Levi. He's only got 7.1%, and Eric Adams with 0.3. So looks like Zoran Mamdani is leading with over 200,000 votes. Comfortable lead. Not safe, but very comfortable. But they called it, so I don't think Cuomo is going to come back and win. So congrats to Zoran Mamdani on the win. Now we're going to go back to New Jersey. It's looking really good for Democrats. Republicans are really messed up this time with all these food stamps that could have had a chance if they didn't pull this off with food stamps. I kind of feel like that could have been, this was a dagger for them. And I just want to say, folks, thank you all so much for tuning in to just another conversation. And please comment, give us a hit a notification bell, give us a sub if it's not too much, and doesn't cost you anything. It will help us grow as a channel. We're still young, green, just like everybody else when they first start out. So let's just move on with the news, see what's next. So there was a lot of people who didn't really care too much about passing of Mr. Cheney, and on writing on X, this is what some of the people on X said about Cheney passing away. It said, another dug into Cheney's reputation as a warmonger. That's what someone said on X. Former Vice President, warmonger, and Kamala Harris supporter Dick Cheney is dead at age 84. His lasting legacy will be 8 trillion squandered in Middle East wars while proving Trump is the president of peace by endorsing Kamala. Another one. So Dick Cheney, the man who built his career on wars and deception, ended it by voting for Kamala Harris? No wonder the modern GOP wanted nothing to do with him. The ultimate neocon relic, dying politically long before he died physically, fitting end to a disastrous legacy, wrote another commenter on X. And another comment, I'm not going to pretend that Dick Cheney was a good guy. The world, in hindsight, would have been better off if he were never born. He shamed his administration, his party, his country, and at the end, he tried to screw over his one-time voters by handing power to Kamala Harris, posted mega author Joseph Ford Cotto. Well, I don't really know about that. I don't know why people can't just be nice about it and just let those that pass away live in pass in peace and just leave them alone. I I don't approve of people ripping on people that have passed away. Okay, don't do that to the dead. They deserve to rest in peace. Now let's move on. World War tensions. As Putin ally says, NATO power shouldn't be afraid of Russian nukes. I would be afraid of Russian nukes. Russia has consistently threatened the United Kingdom with nuclear attacks as the Ukraine war rages on. Many people would disagree with that war. I do disagree with that war. I I never wanted that war to ever start. Personally, if you ask me, there's a lot of people, a lot of innocent people that are dying there. It's not a good war. It shouldn't have never happened. Now, I don't know if that war in Ukraine would have happened either way, whether Trump was in there or not. I do believe myself that that war would have never happened if Trump was president. And I'm personally not like on either side, Democrat or Republican, but I want to be fair and say that, it, it just wouldn't have happened if Trump was in office. I mean, that is the one good thing about Trump is that he kind of had good relations with Putin back in the day, some years ago, but it doesn't have those relations with Putin anymore. Especially if he's saying things like, "Oh, I don't like communists" or "I don't like the socialists," and Putin's definitely not gonna like that part. So as world war tensions rise in Europe, Putin ally says NATO powers shouldn't be afraid of Russian nukes. It says, "I see no obstacles to applying to supplying a friendly country with it." So basically, do you guys hear about what's going on over in rockets? Trump intervenes. Well, let's see what the news about that says. And also, the United States says they're going to be saying no. Trump is kind of up in the air about it. He's saying yes, there won't be nukes. They're just going to be like rockets with no nuclear warheads on them. So So these rockets are called Oreshnik rockets. They are Russian-made rockets. They were used in Ukraine, I think, a few months back. You guys have seen the videos. They're devastating-looking videos. I mean, these Oreshnik rockets, they're just terrible. They are equipped with multiple smaller nuclear heads that, before they hit the ground, they kind of disperse. Like one hits there, one hits there, one hits there, one hits there, and the main one explodes before the other ones do. I mean, this thing is just devastating. And it says right over here, according to the Kremlin, the Oreshnik missile can strike any target in Europe within an hour, and it can carry nuclear warheads. And this is, they're saying that these Oreshnik rockets that are going to be sent to Venezuela if Trump doesn't back off. The comment from Zhuravlyov comes amidst President Donald Trump's continuing strikes on boats he claims are carrying drugs from Venezuela to the United States. The legality of these strikes has faced bipartisan pushback. Senator Rand Paul disagrees, is one of the more vocal Republican critics, calling the strikes insane and uncivilized. I agree. You can't just strike some random boats on the sea who you think are maybe fishermen boats, maybe not, maybe they're drug boats, maybe not. You don't know, but yet you're taking them down. People are dying. Why not first check into it and then bomb, right? But I'm sure the United States has some kind of. The United States is a really good inside information what those boats are. I'm sure they're not just bombing it because they want to bomb it. But of course, Rand Paul is saying that is insane and uncivilized. That we're just bombing those boats. They're just peacefully um, sailing through the ocean, and it shouldn't be happening. Trump has accused Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro of being the head of the alleged smuggling operation the U.S. forces are targeting. Maduro was sworn into office in January despite major questions about the legitimacy of his victory. His opposition, reviewed tally sheets from 80% of voting machines and counted twice as many votes for Edmundo Gonzalez than Maduro. The U.S.-based Carter Center confirmed that the tally was legitimate. And of course, they're saying that Venezuela's electoral process did not meet the international standards of electoral integrity at any of its stages and violated numerous provisions of its own national laws. The center, which oversaw the election, said in a statement. Maduro reportedly reached out to Russian President Vladimir Putin, of course he did, for assistance amid the strikes in the Caribbean. Maria Zakharov, spokesperson for the Russian Foreign Ministry, condemned the strikes on Saturday, calling them excessive military force. Trump denied multiple reports last week suggesting a strike on Venezuelan land was imminent and could happen at any moment. According to the president, he was not made a final decision on expanding the strikes. Deposed Russian officials threatens to send hypersonic missile to Venezuela. Americans may be in for some surprise. First appeared on Mediate. Russia has announced that Moscow will consider providing Venezuela with its advanced Oreshnik mid-range ballistic missile as the Donald Trump administration ramps up its military presence in the Caribbean nation. Deputy head of the State Duma's Defense Committee, Alexei Zhuravlev, said Russia already supplies weapons to Venezuela and that nothing prevents it from delivering the Oreshnik missile to Caracas. Zhuravlev noted that Russia is a key provider of military hardware and supplies a full range of weapons from small arms to combat aircraft to the government of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro. So Russia has been helping Venezuela deal. It looks like they've been sending weapons to them for quite a long time now, and this is nothing new. And Zhuravlev also said, I see no obstacles to supply a country friendly to us with new developments such as Oreshnik rockets, say the well-proven caliber missiles. At least no international obligations restrict Russia in this regard. He believes like he's got a full right to do so. They're also supplying Oreshnik IRBMs to Venezuela. He said the Russian-made Su-30 Mk2 aircraft from the backbone of Venezuela's air force, and that the Caracas has also received Panzer S-1 and Buk, which it's called Buk, M2E air defense system from the Russians also. So they also received some anti-rockets uh, for the defense purposes. He added that no international obligations prohibit Russia from supplying Venezuela with modern long-range weapons, including caliber missiles. And let's see, we can get back to the polls, see what's going on. Looks like all the polls are closed. The one still stands. Mikey Sherrill has won. So Abigail Spanberger and Solid Zara Mandani. It says that Putin has suffered heavy losses in the Ukrainian defense losses as Ukrainian defense forces destroyed Russian SAM OSA. This development follows earlier reports that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro requested military aid from Russia. And that is because the escalation of what's going on there right now between the U.S. forces and alleged drug cartel boats or vessels. It says Trump deploys U.S. warships carrying over 2,000 Marines toward Venezuela. Documents fully indicate that Venezuelan authorities also have sought military support and equipment from China and Iran to bolster the country's defense capabilities. The Trump administration has launched a campaign portraying Maduro as the leader of a drug trafficking and terrorist organization allegedly attempting to flood the United States with narcotics ahead of potential military strikes. Maduro has dismissed the accusations, claiming that Washington's true motive is to seize Venezuela's vast natural resources, including oil, gas, and gold. And in response to rising tensions, he announced the mobilization of 15,000 soldiers to safeguard the country's sovereignty. So yeah, what's going on down there right now? It's not good, and it's going to escalate if we just need to. U.S. just I don't see why the U.S. needs to go down to Venezuela and deal with these drug boats and the drugs. And I mean, yes, are the drugs coming to U.S.? Probably. Do we know exactly from where in South America? We really don't know. But if that's going to make Russians come out and send their nukes, I mean, Russians are threatening, as you can just hear, they're threatening to send their nuclear heads and warheads and a bunch of other defensive equipment to Venezuelans and to Maduro. I mean, he's a dictator. Who knows what can happen here? You know, all whole hell can break loose. All right, let's get back to SNAP benefits. What's going on? Well, as of yesterday, I have heard President Trump said that they were going to use agricultural money from the agricultural pound of money, money that was meant to be used in agricultural purposes, and he was going to say that some of that money, I believe $6 billion, he was supposed to use, and he did give it a go yesterday or the day before, that people will not go hungry, and this money will be used to supply people with food or food banks with food, and supply the money to people who are getting their monthly benefits, but that will only cover half of what people are getting. So instead of it being 100%, you will get 50%, obviously. And if you were getting like $700, you would get $300. But it looks like no one would get anything. It just looks like to me that people will not get anything right now. Because he's saying today, it says Trump administration announced on Monday that it would provide only partial SNAP benefits for November using funds from the program's contingency account, right? The announcement came after federal judges in Rhode Island and Boston ruled that the government must continue funding SNAP during this shutdown. And then Trump said no payments will be distributed until the government shutdown is over. The administration cited legal advice and operational constraints in determining that only 50% of the usual monthly benefits could be distributed to eligible households. As the issue continues, many states have stepped in to provide assistance to residents facing food insecurity. How many people are facing food insecurity or food assistance issues? Well, over 42 millions. Millions of Americans face uncertainty regarding the amount and timing of aid, with state agencies likely to require weeks to process and disburse benefits. Legal challenges from Democratic state attorneys general and advocacy organizations could result in further court orders or new guidance. President Donald Trump on Truth Social on Tuesday, SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, many-fold, during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office, says Donald Trump, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP. Will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do, and not before. House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Louisiana Republican, told reporters on Monday, the president is desperate for SNAP benefits to flow to the American citizen who desperately rely upon it. See, Trump wants to do the benefits. He wants to help out, from what it says over here, but Republicans are not budging, and it looks like they're not on the same page. So Mike Johnson is saying that this about Donald Trump. He says he has bent over backwards, as you know, to get the troops paid to keep WIC funding going. He's found creative solutions. The SNAP situation has league of impediments to that. Amy Klobuchar, a Minnesota Democrat on the Senate Agriculture Committee, in a statement on Monday. The courts have ordered the administration to use its contingency funds. So this was a contingency fund. That was a part of the there was the part of there was a backup, agricultural backup, and they were going to use that, and it looks like they're not going to be using it now. It says it is not enough to do the bare minimum. The administration should stop playing politics with hunger and use all available resources to ensure Americans can put food on the table. And what happens next? We don't know. Folks, there's a lot of really bad things going on in this country, but there's also something about that's holding us all together. 42 million people are still hungry, while the ones on the top are eating the best quality foods, organic foods, and they're saying the rich in general are living about 9 to 10 years longer than the ones that are poor. I don't know how true that is. I'm not sure. I didn't really read into it myself, allegedly. But I do know when I have extra money, I like to buy better quality foods. So, you know, rich people that have the money, of course they're going to buy a better quality food. You know, they eat better than us, they eat better quality food than us, and a lot of them don't live longer. Most of them do. And a lot of that stuff is also has to do a lot with the generics, as you guys heard about Mr. Dick Cheney, who's passed away today. Unfortunately, you guys have heard. I mean, he had quite a bit of money. I mean, he's lived till 84 years old. I'm sure he's eating good foods, but he chose not to. You know what I'm saying? He could have eaten good foods. He could have exercised. He could have not smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day, but he chose to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and he has chose to eat fatty foods. And but he said he also had um, uh, generically uh, his family has heart problems. So that's usually how that works out. You know, when you have a heart problem in genetics, it will more likely than not transfer onto you. Whether that's diabetes or something to do with the heart or liver disease or anything like that, I believe it's mostly genetics. Folks, thank you so much for those of you who have tuned in. We do apologize with all the ha's and all the stops. Like I said, we're still agreeing. We're still working on our mistakes. We're trying to get better, and I'm truly, truly thankful for all those of you who have actually tuned in to listen to this um, these news right now. And please subscribe. It won't cost you nothing to help us move on forward. Comment for sure. If you don't mind, share all those good things. Thank you so much again. Take care of each other. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you all for listening. Just another conversation with your host, Mr. Unspeakable. Good night.